Hi, Wim Dijkgraaf here. New video for the Effortless Harmonica blog, and this time it's about key centers. Key centers is a way to look at harmonic progressions like the chords in a jazz standard, and it's a way to look at it so you reduce complexity. So let's see. It is one of the techniques that for a beginning improviser, it can help to reduce complexity. Um, so it can be a great tool for you. Let's have a look. So why could you be interested in key centers? There are a couple of reasons. For a beginning improviser, the amount of material to study can be overwhelming. There are lots of chords, there are lots of scales, and all the books say that you have to study everything in every key, so it is a lot. Then, actually what you are studying then is the alphabet, or are a couple of words if you compare it to a language. So you are only studying the very basic blocks, while music has a lot more. You have to study a lot more to create convincing music. Like you have to develop your tone, you have to work on articulation, things like that. So it is good in the beginning if you spend not so much time on learning all the scales and all the chords, because then you lag behind on other aspects of your playing. So to reduce can help to not having to learn all the material, all of the vocabulary in terms of scales and chords, so you can focus on other aspects too. So that's actually it. There we go. Let's have a look. What it is. What you are going to learn in this video is how to understand a tune just enough to start soloing on it. Soloing based on knowing what are tones you can play. So in an early stage of your development, you can concentrate not only on playing the right notes, because those right notes are given to you in the form of major scales, but also on playing the notes right, so that it sounds convincing what you play. How we're going to do that is to break down the jazz standard in the least amount of major scales. There are a lot of scale types like major, minor, augmented, diminished, but now you only have to know the major scales. So by breaking down a tune that has many harmonies into just a few major scales, you don't have to know so much. And what I'm gonna show you is how you can learn how to feel on your instrument or hear by your internal ear how a tune shifts through the various key centers. So we are going to look at two most common ways that tunes modulate, go from one key center to another key center. Just a little bit about terminology. Scale type is what I just said, major, minor, augmented, and a scale is a specific instance of a scale type, a specific, so you have a group of major scales, that's the scale type, and one scale is the C major scale. It starts from C with a specific structure, or B flat, or then we have a key, a tune, typically is written or played in one of the 12 keys. There are 12 keys, the white and the black keys on the piano. So for instance, it's common that Misty is played in the key of E flat, and the most common key to play rhythm changes in. The I Got Rhythm changes by Ellington. Was it Ellington? Yes, I think it was. No, it was I Got Rhythm. I don't know. Just sorry. It's in B flat major. Then, what is a key center? It's kind of a temporary key. So within a tune that is written in a specific key, there are specific modulations. So temporary, the key changes to another key center. And that's what we are going to look at. So if we look at harmonies, a tune at its chords, then we can reduce the complexity by looking at a more general level which key centers are used. And here we have an example. Let me see. Yeah. So we have a C major chord going to F minor 7, B flat 7, and then E flat major 7. So the first chord is clearly in C major, and then we have three chords starting from F minor to E flat major. Those three chords are within the key center called E flat major. So if you play an E flat major scale there, the notes of an E flat major scale, then you hit the right notes. So instead of learning all the notes from three chords, you can just use the E flat major scale there. Then we have E minor 7, A7. It's all based on the key center D major. How you get there, we see in further slides. It's just an example how key centers will reduce complexity. So E minor 7, A7 is in the key of D major. Then we have three other chords starting at E flat minor 7, going to A flat 7, and A flat dominant 7 chord, and then goes to D flat major 7. It's all in the key of D flat major, sorry. So just use the notes in the D flat major scale and you use the right notes. The same for B minor 7, E7 and A7. It's all in the key of A major. So you see you have several chords, but you can reduce it to just a couple of major scales, the 5 major scales in this example. Okay, how do we do that? The easiest way to do it is just look for the dominant 7 chords first. So the first dominant 7 chord here is a B flat 7, and dominant 7 chord, it's the fifth, how do you say that? The fifth step in a major scale. So you have to calculate from which major scale B flat 7, B flat is the fifth step. And if you calculate that, it's from E flat. So you have in harmonic progressions, they call it a 5-1 progression. B flat 7 is the 5, the dominant 7, and E flat major 7 is the 1. So you have a 5-1 progression. So there that's how you find the key center, by first looking at the dominant 7 chords. The second dominant 7 is the A7, and A7 is the dominant 7 of D major. E minor being the second, so you have a 2-5 in D major there. The A7 doesn't resolve to the 1, and that's why in the next bar you see E flat minor 7, it's not in the key of D. So that A7 chord doesn't resolve to its tonic, but goes directly to a new key center. Well, there we see an A flat 7, dominant 7 chord, which is the dominant 7 of D flat major, which is written here. And then the next dominant 7 chord is an E7, which resolves to A major 7, so that's easy. So every time that you see a dominant 7 resolving to its root, it's simple to find the key center, because it's the key center of the root. And here you see one example that doesn't resolve to the root, to the tonic. It's the same, to the tonic, that's a better term actually. I will use that. A7 doesn't resolve to its tonic D, but goes directly to another key center. So that's one. Look at the dominant 7 chords. Then the second guideline is look at the major 7 chords that are kind of solitary, and that's what happens here with the C major. C major, it doesn't have its dominant G7, it doesn't go to, yeah, it's just there on its own. So that, and so that's another thing to focus on, another guideline. Look at the major 7 chords that are kind of solitary, standing there alone. Okay, let's go to jazz standard. There will never be another you. I have done the analysis here for you. It's the form of there will never be another you is an A, B, A, C form. So on this slide you see the A and the B. And the first part is completely in the key of E flat. So the E flat major 7 goes to D half diminished 7, G7 flat 9 to C minor 7. It's just all the key of E flat major. So you use an E flat major scale over all those chords. And I know the G7 has a B and not a B flat, but that's another guideline that I'm gonna add later. Yeah, so for now, just think in E flat. Then we look at E flat 7 as a dominant 7 that goes to A flat major 7, and even goes further to D flat 7. That's all in the key of A flat. Then it goes back to E flat, both those chords, E flat major 7 and C minor 7, are in the key of E flat. Then it goes to the key of B flat, because F7 is the dominant for B flat, so you use a B flat major scale there. Then F7 becomes minor, and we have a F minor 7, B flat 7, and that's all in the key of E flat. So you see, there are a lot of chords, but only 3 key centers, starting from E flat, going to A flat, going back to E flat, going to B flat, and going back to E flat. So you only need to know 3 major scales to start soloing over this tune, over the A and the B part. Let's look at the second half. It's the AC. Now the A is the same, so we're not going to spend time now. Let's have a look at C. It's a bit more complex. A flat, D flat, both in the key of A flat. Then it goes for 1 bar to E flat major 7. Then the A half diminished 7, D7, you can think of that it resolves to G minor 7, and G minor 7 is the major key of B flat. It's an Aeolian scale. And then you see a bar, E flat major 7 going to A flat 7. You see every chord there has its own key center. So there the usefulness of key centers really isn't, how do you say that, in place, or here the technique really doesn't solve the problem, because every chord has its own key. But then the next 2 chords are G minor 7, C7, that's all in the key of F, so 1 scale, and then the next 4 chords are all in the key of E flat. So you see, the first part of There Will Never Be Another You can solo over in 3 keys, E flat, A flat, and B flat. And here, A flat again, E flat again, B flat again. So there's nothing new. The only new real key center is the key center of F major 7. So in the end, you can solo over There Will Never Be Another You with all those chords with only 3 major scales. The most common used one here is E flat, then we have A flat, we have B flat, and we have F. And that's all. 4 key centers. So that's why this technique can be helpful for beginning improvisers to really reduce the complexity of a jazz standard.